All right, everybody, welcome back to the Snapper Chat podcast. Today, we've got one of the greatest of all time, if not the official GOAT of the pest control door-to-door industry. We've got Mr. Jake West. Jake, how you doing today, brother?
Good, Will. How you doing, man? Good to be on the show.
Doing good. Yeah, appreciate you for coming on, man. I know that you've got an impressive track record. You've been in door-to-door for 9 years. You've gotten a
Yep.
golden door the last 4 years, soon to
hmm
be five going into this year. You did 2 million in rev the last 2 years. You've had massive days, 33 accounts in a day that all got serviced, 102 in a week. Really, it was in 5 days. You had a short week. And one thing that is, I think, really commendable is that you've literally gotten better every single year, the last 9 years since you got into this space. So all around, super impressive. We're talking to a GOAT today. If you guys are not taking notes, make sure you do so. And I'd love to start, Jake, with just what's your background in? Like, how did you first hear about door to door? Did you ever think that you'd be in door to door? And then, really, how did you get to the point you're at now, where you're in 0.1% of the industry and where you were able to accomplish all of these things that we just mentioned? So, what's your background story, and how did you get to where you're at today?
From the top, huh? So my background is no, I did not think I would ever be knocking doors. I think like many of us. My plan was to be a doctor. I was like pre-med. Um, that was kind of I did my I think when I was 18 years old, I got my associate's degree. So kind of a head start on college. I went and served a 2-year mission. And then I get back from my mission, I'm like, yeah, I got 2 years left of school, and then I'll start med school. That was kind of the plan. But I had a buddy that said, hey, man, you should come sell pest control with me. And I'd never heard of this. I was like, what the heck is selling pest control? Like, what is that? This was back in, end of 2015, going into 2016. So I decided to give it a shot. I was like, all right, I will go to Texas, to Houston to sell bug spray. Like, what am I doing? But at the time I was making $10 an hour in a warehouse, like moving boxes. And like many college students, man, that doesn't go very far, $10 an hour, especially when it's like part time while you're in school. Like, I feel like I was getting nowhere in life financially. Um, and I heard about these guys making $20,000, maybe even $30,000 in a summer. And I was like, dude, I'm making 2 grand right now. So I'll go give this a shot. Let's try it. My family thought I was crazy. My parents don't like door to door salesmen. So they thought I was nuts for literally moving away and going to Houston to knock in the 100-degree humid heat. But I did well. I was the number one guy in my team. I even beat my team leader that year by like 7 sales. I did nothing crazy to today's standards, but I hit 265 closed accounts my rookie year and got promoted to team leader. Made like 35,000 on that, on like a rookie salary. I'm like, dude, that was awesome. My goal was to make 10 grand and I made 35. Um, I was like, dude, while I'm in school, let's do this again. And then going back to the school side of things where I'm pre-med, right? I met with my counselor to kind of figure out the plan. Because, dude, now I had school paid for, right? Like, I just made 35K. School was now paid for. Like, I was like ready to finish it. And my counselor told me I had to redo a ton of the medical classes I had already like gotten A's or B's in, because there's a 4-year like expiration on medical classes to go into med school. I thought that was stupid for one. So I had to like redo like medical anatomy and physiology, which is a super hard class if anyone's taken that. Like some of those chemistry, like it was just a joke. And that's always been a pet peeve of mine, is like redoing things I've already done. So like I retook that medical anatomy class and I got an A the first time I took it. And this time I like flunked it, dude. And that made me so mad. I'm like, I'm a good student. I'm like I think I have a 3.8 GPA and I'm freaking got the first F in my life redoing a class I've already done. So that kind of irked me. And I'm like, man, I really love sales. Like that selling summer was awesome. I'm like, maybe I kind of switch into sales. Like this is more fun. The medical field's cool, but if they're gonna be like that, Um, so I switched to like a professional sales degree, kind of went all in with sales, went in, back my second summer with Aptive. And yeah, about a year and a half ish, maybe 2 years later, I graduated with a professional sales degree, which was cool. Um, And then I've kind of been doing, you know, I've been in door-to-door sales for almost a decade now. It's crazy. So I never thought I would be in sales, to go back to that first question you asked, but it just kind of kept making more sense. Year two, I upped it, made $60,000. And at that point I graduated, and I got a lot of even from family members, like, when are you going to get a real job? When are you going to go get a big boy job, instead of this like door knocking thing? And I was like, well, now that I'm not in school, if I'm going to keep doing, because I love the culture of door-to-door sales. I love the team aspect of it, building a team out, teaching them how to sell. Everyone's in the trenches together, making money, working hard during the week, having fun on the weekend. Like, I love the culture. So I decided, hey, if I'm gonna get good at this if I'm gonna keep doing it. So started shooting for, higher summers, and then summer. So I did 270 accounts that second year. Third year I doubled, did 505 accounts. Year four I did 800 plus accounts. I think it was 806. And then year five did 1,013 or something. Was the number one at my company that year.
Number one in the company, not just with your team.
Yeah, number one in the company. The year before, I was like number five in the company. So in 2019, I almost got a golden door. I was like 3 weeks short. I was starting to rip like 250 accounts a month. So 800, I'm like, dude, I'm close to 1,000 accounts, which is the golden door in pest. But we had so many trips planned that year, and my wife's like, let's just go on the trips, and next year we'll hit 1,000. And I'm like, all right, bet. So yeah, hit it in 2020, COVID year, and then just kind of been trying to rip golden doors ever since and keep improving. It switched to revenue in the pest world at that point. It was always like accounts were tracked, and then it started switching to, okay, now we're only going to track revenue because that makes more sense, which it does. I'm glad they did that. So then I was kind of going from 500K to 600, 800, a million, just kind of every year getting, at least trying to improve and get better and better.
Seems like you've got a knack for it. Would you say that you're a natural, or did it come kind of difficult to you to be successful in this industry?
I mean, both. Like, I look back on my pitch as a rookie, and it's so bad, right? Like many,
Let's
like
let's let,
like
let,
any
let's
of
hear the
us,
rookie pitch. Let's hear the rookie pitch real quick.
the rookie pitch was just, you know,
Hello.
hey, how's it going?
Good.
Good. I'm Jake. I'm selling pest control. It's half price. So something like that. You just kind of stutter, and
And then what was
um,
it this last year? Your fourth year hitting Golden Door. What's your pitch now? Hello.
how's it going? You're the boss, right?
Yeah. What's up?
Good to meet you. So my name's Jake. I'm with Active. We're doing 14 neighbors today and tomorrow. It's for the bugs, like the spiders, the ticks, the wasps. If you can be here, because my truck is here anyway, I'm doing anybody else half price.
We're not interested. Thank you
Yeah,
though.
well, I'd be surprised if you were this early. Check this out what I'm doing though. When you go into service, go into the pitch.
And then that one that's like you rip with that one. Like that's the pitch. That's how you get 1,000 accounts in pest control in a year.
Pretty much. Some pest guys are all about the switch over pitch off the bat. Like, hey, who do you guys have for bugs? And they just like ask it. I stay away from that. I assume everybody doesn't have it, even though half of people do. And then if they hit me with, oh no, I've got a company, I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. People are upgrading from their guy. Who do you use right now? And then start going
Mm-hmm.
into like a switch over pitch, find out who they are, what they're paying, how often their guy's coming, and then just find a way to win and close.
I know you mentioned like some of your family members were like, go get a real job. And obviously we've seen the memes and we've seen the reels, and it's like never tell somebody in door to door that like they need to get a real job, because more likely than not, they're probably making 4 or 5 times your salary in like 6 months, right? Which is kind of ridiculous to think about. But what would you say are like your driving forces? Like what forces somebody to go out, hit 33 accounts in a day, 102 accounts in a week? Like what are those driving factors for you? Like what drives you to go out there and perform at that level, not just for a year, but for 9 years
Yeah.
in a row?
So obviously the drive evolves, right? When I was a young 20-year-old single kid, that first year was more the chip on my shoulder of, you're not gonna like you're not gonna do well in this job. Like, you're crazy for going out. Like, what are you doing? So at first it was like to prove people wrong. Um, and now I'm married, have two little girls, I've got a family. Obviously that why changes, right? It's like I've got a family now. Now my motivation, like for a while it was like, yeah, it was money, it was grinding, it was trying to make something of myself. But now it's like I want to spend as much time as possible with my family, with my little girl. So that's a huge part of my why is not only like improving, but trying to do it faster too, so I can get home to my family. And that's the beauty of pest control is we get 8 months off or 7 months off a year to like just hang out. But it's a freaking grind in those 4 or 5 months. Um, so that kind of became my new why is, hey, I want to provide for my family, one, but be able to spend a ton of time with my girls and, never miss a soccer game or a dance recital or a class, I got to take every other day. I take my girl to school. She's in like preschool like every other day. So that's fun. Like as the dad, I'm the only dad. It looks like it like pick up and drop off. That's kind of cool. So I got to like drop off my daughter, pick her up again. Um, so that's probably my main why. And then of course it's like now it's turning into, okay, I've been here for a decade. It's probably going to be hard to keep improving. You have 1.16 million is kind of hard to top, but now it's like where other what else can I improve on, or what impact can now I leave with the community, with people. Like it's more, and to hit 33 in a day, like not many can say they've done that, and that leads impact, and I can train on that secret sauce and help other guys now to like hit their potential. And like I'm just Jake from the block. I'm just I never thought I'd be here, but now it's cool that I get to like inspire others and train others and teach others to be successful too. Which you do as well here at Snapper, which is awesome. So,
So with that being said, you've had a crazy, crazy track record, super impressive the last decade. Where do you see yourself these next 10 years?
dude, that's a great question. Usually, I just play everything 1 year at a time, but um, I have a role now at my company where I train. I'm in charge of training like all the experienced reps in the whole company, which is cool. So maybe in 10 years, I'm still doing that. Um, I'm also still right now. I'm doing that plus still knocking in the summer. We'll see how many more years of knocking I have in me. Maybe I start my own company. That then turns into like a 12-month job naturally. So that's always kind of been a balance: is do I start my own, or do I keep ripping, keep ripping golden doors and loving the off season with my family? That's kind of the balance, or the big, the fork in the road coming up. But um, either way, dude, door to door, as you know, is door to door is life. I love sales. I love the culture. So in 10 years, I'm sure I will still be a part of it in some way or the other, whether it's my own company or whether it's, yeah, obviously heavily involved in the door to door space like now.
Yeah, you're a future CEO,
No
and I
doubt,
think
no doubt.
you're gonna inspire a lot of people. With training the top reps in the industry, what would you say are the three biggest struggles that people in door to door go through?
Just in general. Number one's mentality, right? You know that. This job is like 90% mental. So if you don't have a mentality of a winner, of someone that wants to win or have drive, like you're not going to be successful. So I think that's the biggest thing people in door to door go through every single year, no matter what, is like the obstacles and the demons and there's always curveballs every single summer, no matter what you're selling. If you're selling solar, alarms, pest, roofing, meat, windows, whatever, like there's obstacles, right? There's curveballs, whether it's stuff that happens physically or mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, like stuff's going to come up. Maybe it's operations, so like winners win. Winners will find a way to jump over those obstacles and keep grinding, or like, take it in stride, analyze what they got to do, and then move forward. So
That's
that's
number one. What would you say are
probably
the other
number
two
one.
struggles?
Number two, um, is man, this is hard. You put me on the spot here.
It really is just the mental side of things,
After
isn't it?
mentality, what is it?
Yeah, exactly. I agree
Because
with that.
I kind of group four. I'm like, there's like physical, mental, emotional. Like maybe those can all be different things, but
And that hits home
um,
for us because we before I got into the door to door industry 3, 4, or 5 years ago, yeah, 2020 was when I started. But we have a nonprofit. It's all about mental health, and it's called Battle of the Gains. It's right
I love
here,
it.
helping people overcome battles in life, making gains physically, mentally, spiritually,
So
finances, relationships, stopping the rising rates of depression, anxiety, suicide, and homicide. And so I always just tell people like door to door is a personal development program with a compensation plan attached to it. So with you, like, what are you preaching to your guys when they come to you and they're like, "Hey, I'm struggling with this." Like, what are ways that you are speaking life into these guys? What are things that you're doing to encouraging people? How are you taking people from maybe like an average rep to being a top producer like yourself?
it's kind of the question you ask me when you ask like, what's my drive? What's my why? That's what it kind of has to tie down to. So guys that are struggling, you have to bring it back to their why. Like, hey man, like why I'm going to help you through this, but why did you come out here in the first place? Like, what do you want to gain from this summer? Because it's hard. And we as leaders never sugarcoat, or at least shouldn't never sugarcoat it. I'm like, dude, this summer's hard. It's hot. It's rejection all day, every day. Why, it's like, why are you here? Why do you, let's get through this together, but like, what's your goal? What do you want to achieve? And then it reminds them, well, this is what I want. I'm doing it for my sister back home who can't afford whatever. I'm doing it for my mom or my wife or for myself or, um, so helping them tap into their motivation and then doing what I can to help, help because there's obviously some kind of obstacle that they're running into, right? If they're on their down, if they're on their low, so whether is it just a sales related thing? Is it like a technical thing? Like, can I just teach you some sales skills and one liners to get past these like things you're getting on the doors? Is it a mental thing? Is it an emotional thing back home that you're dealing with and it's hard to be in two places at once? And then you know, hopefully I have experience that I can relate to them and empathize and hey man, this the same thing happened to me. Here's what I did to overcome it. You know, so obviously it's hard. Everyone has different struggles and everyone's motivated differently, but the commonality, even though everyone has different motivations, the commonality is that they have a motivation, right? They have a why. So help them tap into that and see, hey, this sucks, but if I can overcome this, it will be worth it because of blank, because of this why.
Yep. I think, our job as leaders and like everybody in this space, like we're all leaders, right? We're leading ourselves, our family, our teams, homeowners. But it's like our why is like sometimes to help other people find their why. And that's a cool
100%.
thing, dude. That's a cool thing. It's personal development. Like you're talking about, like if they've had a struggle, you've had that struggle, you can kind of like breathe life into them, let them know it's going to be okay. Your test is your testimony, right? But speaking about the accomplishments you've had, I mean, 33 accounts in a day. How do you do that? How does somebody go out there and do 33 accounts in a day that all service? Were you prepared for that? Were you like, this is going to be the best day of my life? Did it happen on accident? Like, how'd you do it?
Well, there are no accidents. I was prepared this time. So it was a tournament day and I'm very competitive. I like to win. So at Aptive, we do what's called the Masters tournament or the Aptive National Throwdown. It's the big one-on-one tournament, right? So it takes the best of the best in the company. It's a big bracket. Um, eventually it's like, the top 128, 64, much like March Madness or any other sports tournament. Um, so back to that story I had where it was, I think it was 2019. I had gone to the championship that year, but I lost. Um, and that was a kind of an eye opening year for me because I had never really gone far in this tournament before. I was like first or second round eliminated like every time those first like 3 years, and then year four, I don't know if you know Brigham Lindsay. He's one of the goats in the pest control space. He kind of pioneered like selling over 1,000 pest control accounts in the summer. Like when I was a rookie, he sold 1,100 that year. And then my second year, he sold 1,200. He was kind of like the OG, like top pest guy. Um, and then we had a new kind of goat for his name's Brad. Brad Farr, if you know him, he switched over to the solar world. He also a stud. He did 1,300 accounts that my third year. So there is like some titans. So I'm looking at the bracket. This is my fourth year. I'm in the tournament. And I have to play Brigham Lindsay in the Sweet 16, and then Brad Farr in the Elite Eight, and then in the Final Four, another killer who was like at 900 accounts, Kellen Isaac, if you know him, also in the solar world. Um, I'm like, man, this is a daunting task. I'm like, I was like jokingly getting mad at my CEO, like, what the heck, man? Like, you put me against the hardest people. Like, but I was like, you know what? Take it one match at a time. I'm gonna like a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. There was like people were like picking who they were gonna win, and of course they're picking Brigham Lindsey, right? He's like the GOAT. And I'm like, dude, why can't it be me? Why can't I'm gonna go out and just do my best and try to win. I'm gonna go out early, and I don't normally go out early, but I'm gonna like put more hours in on these tournament days and try to win. And it was working, dude. I beat Brigham Lindsey, I beat Brad, I beat Kellen. I go to the championship to play Andy Holmes, who I'd never heard of at the time. I was like, who's this Andy Holmes guy? But I came this far. Let's go. And it was a crazy match. He ended up beating me like 41-36. I had terrible area management, and I ran out of area to knock middle of the match, and I was driving in rush hour traffic to another area. So I owned it. I was like, dude, I had bad management. Maybe I could have gotten those 5 sales I lost by in that time, but that's on me. So going into the year I sold 33, I find myself back in the championship. It's me versus Austin Pritchard. And I was like, dude, I'm not losing again. I'm like, area management. I'm like, I got plenty of area. I like planned. I prepared. I had the mentality of kind of like the Eagles did yesterday in the Super Bowl, right? They had a. That's how I kind of knew that. I'm not an Eagles fan by any means, but I kind of knew they were going to win because I had been where they were. Like they weren't going to, they were just there right a couple years ago and lost. I'm like, man,
That's right.
they're not gonna lose this time. They're gonna have that like same revenge factor I did, where I'm like, dude, I'm not losing. So I went out and sold 33 in a day. Freaking I went balls to the wall, and um,
What was the earliest you knocked and the latest you knocked for that?
dude, you might hate me for this. I hate myself for it a little bit, but I stopped at 7:30 p.m. that night. I probably could have
Hmm.
sold 40 in a day if I went until like 9:30, but
What time did you start?
started like it was early, like 8 a.m., 8:30 maybe.
So you
Um,
went like 11 hours, close to 12 hours. No
pretty much.
breaks,
Uh, Pretty
couple
much no
breaks.
breaks because I was just usually I take like a 2 hour lunch every day, but dude, my lunch was just deals that day, dude. It was sales. I had like a
Yeah,
15 minute, Powerade like granola bar, maybe break in my
sure.
car, but
But
um,
no hour long break at Chipotle. Did
but I
you
it was
tell
it was
people?
sorry, go ahead.
There you go.
I was like, it was just a crazy day. I had 3 trucks just following me, and they were getting everyone's service, dude. It was like a
That was
parade.
awesome. It was like a
Um,
parade. Did you
just a
tell
lot of fun.
homeowners like, hey, it's competition week, like I got to get y'all, or how did you get 33 in a day?
Dude, I was closing early and often. Maybe that's obviously secret sauce for top sellers, but I was so confident that day. This is not what I normally do even now, but I was so confident that day that my first close was pretty much debit or credit. And it was working, dude. People were like, "Oh yeah, what's this for?" Like handing me their card. It was wild, but I was just like so in the zone. My exact stats were I had 99 decision makers that day. So I sold 1 in 3. So 1 in 3 were buying.
It's pretty good.
Not too shabby. I'm typically 1 in 4, but I get
Hmm.
way less DMs a day. But that day, like people were
And
answering. Maybe it was a perfect storm, but people
were
were
you
answering
like,
the door. They
yeah,
were buying. They were bandwagoning. Like there was just. I didn't really use a competition close. Like I mean,
sure.
unless every now and then I did. If I was like deep in a sale, like I'm maybe 5, 6, 7 closes deep, maybe I'd be like, dude. Tell you what, man, I'm in a competition. We're trying to prove that, we're whatever. Let me do this for you. Does that work? And maybe they would say yes, maybe they'd say no, but typically I wouldn't say that unless like I was deep in and it was like a Hail Mary kind of thing. But
And then were you just running in between doors? You said 99 homeowners in a 12-hour period, or were you just walking confidently to the next door? What was the urgency there?
yeah, I wasn't running. I had a Segway, so I was segwaying. Just
Sure.
beep beep.
Yep.
So it's not like it's crazy fast, but we were just it was just efficient, dude. And then there was three trucks because I was selling so many people. Usually a pest control technician can do about 10 houses a day.
Hmm.
So I needed 3 to be able to get 33 done.
Crazy.
But they were yeah, it was just like they were working in tandem. By the time they had finished a house, I had already gotten another sale. and they would all kind of work together on a house. So one tech would like sweep the eaves, one would like spray the base, and maybe one would like granulate for like ticks and fleas and stuff. So it was, yeah, from an operations standpoint, things were dialed. You know, it was just
Hmm.
efficient, and then they would all finish up, and then I had a new house for them, and they would do that. I would have a new house for them, and we just cranked all day.
Man, can you
Like,
imagine if you would have recorded that on camera that whole day?
dude, I wish I did because the match before where I had lost, we had camera people like following us around and filmed it, which a little bit scary but kind of cool. So there's some cool footage, but there wasn't anybody filming it. That maybe it was because it was the year after COVID or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that stopped happening, but I agree, dude. I wish I did film that day because there was a level of just confidence and dialedness that like to sell 33 by 7:30 at night. Um, that doesn't happen if you're not like firing on all cylinders on both like my personal end as well as like the operations and
Well, it
definitely a
was
team effort. But
and like you said, it was like the perfect storm, you know? It's like you got out there early, you had the confidence, you had the why of having to win the competition. Like you're talking about with the Eagles, like they had lost a couple years ago, so like there's no way they're gonna lose last night, right? And then you were selling people, right? And so I think like when you translate that to the homeowner, like they believe you, you know? If you're really signing up everybody, like you're signing up everybody, like you're talking about, you bandwagon them. How long did a typical sale take? What do you think your
like
quickest sale was that day?
that day, dude, it was like 10 minutes tops. Sometimes hopefully 5 minutes. Um,
What do you think the quickest one was?
I'm sure like 3 to 5 minutes. Just like,
That's
hey, here's what I'm
crazy.
doing. Here's the price.
Yeah.
Here's what I do. Yeah, I come for 12 months. Do this. They're like, yeah, sounds good. And then just filled them out. Done.
And that takes,
So
you can literally get a sale in 5 minutes. Sign them up, they got their debit or credit, and you're on to the next.
yeah, as long as you don't like, as long as they know everything, you're like, hey, here's the contract. It's 12 months. I come this much. It's this. You know, you pay this much per visit. If for some reason you cut the year short, pay it. It's $200 to cancel. But if you just at least try me a year, you can cancel for free after that. Hopefully, you use me for life. But
Hmm.
just make sure they understand everything. They're clear. They know the service, the price, the contract. Yeah, close them.
Do you think you could do it again in a day? Go out there and do 35 or 40?
Yeah, I think so. And I did. We switched to revenue. Kind of that year, the year after.
Yep.
But a couple years later, so I won this tournament 3 years in a row. I got a three-peat. Something Patrick Mahomes hasn't done yet.
Crazy. That's
Sorry,
right.
Pat.
I was disappointed. I wanted to see him do it last night. Nobody else did, but I did.
I did too. I was rooting for him. You know, as a fellow three-peater, I was hoping Patty and me would be in the. Nah,
They
I'm
had
kidding.
they had too many beers, dude. They were partying too much the night before, I think.
They must have been. They weren't.
They were
It
not
just
sharp.
showed the Eagles wanted it more, dude. Right? They were hungry. They weren't going to lose again. It's hard to
Yep.
win three in a row. I mean, it's hard to win two in a row, but three is crazy.
Yeah.
But that third when I got my three-peat, which was crazy.
And the three-peat, you mean to say that you won that Masters 3 years in a row? That's
Yes,
crazy. That's crazy.
um, won it 3 years in a row, 21, 22, and 2023. Um, I lost this last year. I got caught lacking. It's hard to win four in a row, but I was stoked to three-peat like Michael Jordan, and
Yeah.
that was kind of my 2000 23. It was like the year of Jordan, and I'm like, dude, how cool would it be to three-peat in the year of Michael Jordan 23?
Had anybody done that? A three or four peat or no?
No, yeah, no one's three-peated. I
Just
was
you.
at least in my.
Wow.
I'm sure in some companies,
By
perhaps,
your
but
company. Yeah. Adaptive, which is
Adaptive,
massive.
which is the number one pest control company, right? Got the three-peat. I sold 33,000 in a day. It's funny, 33 is my lucky number. Even in
Same.
different years. So my
Yeah.
best day is 33 sales. My best revenue day is 33,000 in rev. Different years. I had the same. So to ask like, can you do it again? I don't think I quite got 33 deals. I think it was like high 20s, but then 33,000 of rev. But um, it was same mentality that day, right? It was, hey, let's go out early, let's crank, let's go, let's be efficient, let's be dialed. Obviously, it's my best days are, as you can tell, tournament days. I'm a competitor. I like to compete. It kind of fires me up. Those were my best days on competition days, which makes it
Well,
which
dude,
makes it fun.
we'd love to be able to come shadow you if it was possible with Snapper Academy sometime and like to see you do even just like 20 deals in a day. I don't think that I think for a rep to go out there and hit 5 or 10 in a day, like that's good. right? 5 or 10 in a day. Like that's like you're doing well. But if you could go out there and like do like 20, 25, even like you're talking about 35, 40, like on camera though, I'm curious. Have you ever like do you like shadow people a lot? Like have people knock with you, or is it only just you? Because
It's
sometimes,
typically just me. I typically don't like being shadowed just because I
that's right.
feel
Yeah.
like the pressure to
People,
make sure that they're like it's some reps love it. Like I'm fine if it happens, but I usually get
I
in my
don't
head a little
think,
bit more.
yeah, I don't think I've ever knocked without somebody. I don't think I've ever
Really,
actually knocked by myself. I always either have a camera crew on me or I'm shadowing like 2 or 3 reps with our company. I don't think I've actually
it's because
knocked by
you're just a
myself.
legend, Will. That's why you
No,
always
but
have.
now I need to do it. I need to do it though. My
But
best day in
I'm pretty
solar
much
was five.
solo. I just kind of
Yeah,
solo knock, which
sure.
there's pros and cons to that. Knocking with somebody, I feel like the cons there could be maybe it's a crowd or maybe you get in your head because
Right.
people are watching you. But the pros are like I actually learned this in college in a negotiation class in my sales program, right? If you can outnumber him like 2 to 1, then there's more like power on your side, right? Like you can get 2 people head nodding and smiling, like
That's right.
or three
That's right.
people. So there is an advantage to going in groups. But there's pros and cons. But
And
yeah,
that, yeah,
unless I'm shadowing somebody or like a rookie shadowing me to like learn how to do this like their first day, pretty much I'm just selling by myself all day, every day, all summer, which gets a little lonely, right? You can start getting your head a
sure.
little bit, but it's what you got to do sometimes, you know.
That's right. That's right. And I always felt like when I first started and I was like shadowing people, I just would always be doing the head nod like you were talking about there. And I was always like, dude, like, yes, your word tracks were sick, Derek, but it was because of my head nod.
It
That's
was
why
the
they signed
nod,
up, bro.
of
It was the
course. Yes,
nod from the guy sitting in the corner, me. Yeah. No, but dude, so obviously it's sick hearing about the success you've had. Again, like I haven't heard of anybody that's gone out there and literally gotten better every single year. We always talk about it. It's like true leaders are not historians, they're activists. So it's like you're not talking about what you did 10 years ago, bro. You're talking about, hey, I got a golden door the last 4 years and I'm going to do it again this year. Like that's somebody that people want to follow. So for everybody watching this right now, like we're going to put Jake West Instagram handle here. I want you guys to follow him if you feel like you're not, because I believe in the power of proximity. It's like, dude, if you're not around a winning team, if you're not around a winning culture, if you don't want to change lives with the person that you're working with, it's like, what are you doing, right? Like you got to be around the right people. So, yeah, like if you're somebody that wants to go out there and get a golden door, if you're somebody that wants to go out there and hit these massive, breaking competition records and things like that, it's like get with the right people. But Jake, I'm curious, like what would you say is your message for everybody, specifically those that are starting out this year? 2025 is their first year getting on the doors. Well, I mean, like, what would be your message to yourself 10 years ago? If you could talk to that Jake West from, 2015, 2016, what's your message for everybody as they're just getting their career started in 2025 in this incredible industry that I think is the best industry we could possibly be a part of in the door to door space?
best industry ever. I would say 2 things. Will number one, make your why way stronger than you think. Maybe even have multiple whys because when the weather sucks, when it's pouring rain outside, or you've just gotten 20 doors in a row slammed in your face, like you need something to anchor yourself to motivate, or else you're like gonna go home and quit early or something. You need a why to make those hard days seem. You know what? Yeah, it's a little wet outside, but you know what? I was hoping it would rain today. I got goals to hit. I got a family. Whatever your why is, make it stronger than you already plan on having it, and then you'll be more prepared for the hard days. If you could make the hard days a little bit easier, you're gonna be more successful. That's number one, and then number two, um, maximize the time. Treat every day like a gift. My first year or two, I worked my butt off, but towards some days I would coast or call my girlfriend for a couple hours during the selling hours. Then okay, I got to get back to it, and I would still work hard and sell well. But man, I would tell myself. So for all you guys starting out in door to door your first year, treat every day like a gift. When my mindset switched to that, sales took off because I rather than trying to survive the day or survive the summer like many rookies do, especially like towards the end, or if you're selling solar at the end of the year rather than just trying to survive, if you maximize it, like your sales are going to double, triple, whatever, because you're like treating it like a gift. Rather than, yes, I get to go home in 3 hours. It's dang, I only have 3 hours left today. I got to get as many as I can in. So that's what I would say. Make your why stronger and maximize and treat every day like a gift. And it's going to be an awesome summer for you guys. Of
Well said, brother. Well, dude, I'd love to have you be a part of our Snapper Academy community. We're trying to do not just solar
course.
training, but like, pest and
Yeah.
doors, not doors, alarms and things like that. And then I'm sure you're investing too. We talk about knock doors to buy doors. I know that you guys are a huge advocate of that too. But dude, genuinely, thank you for coming on the Snapper Chat podcast and sharing your story of greatness and of, dude, just like legendary status to be able to go out there and the last 9 years just get 1% better. And honestly, like even more than 1% better every single year, right? And to go out there and break those records again, 33 accounts in a day, 102 in a week, 2 million the last 2 years, go out there, hit a three-peat for the competition, like just all around, you're goated. So I appreciate you for gracing us with your presence on this podcast, bro.
Thanks, man. I
And
appreciate it.
love the motivation, words of advice for everybody, which was make sure that your why is massively bigger than everything that you're going to go through, and make sure that you're maximizing every single day because, yeah, tomorrow's not guaranteed, right? And like all we've got is today. And yesterday, you said you would do it tomorrow, right? So it's like, do it today, right? There's no better time than right now. Guys, we're in the best industry that we could possibly be a part of. And
We're
so, like
blessed.
Jake's talking about, like, hey, like, why not me? Why not right now? Like it's the time to do it, guys. Let's go out there. Let's make 2025 the best year of our life. And Jake, we look forward to following you along your journey this year. We'll definitely see you at Door to Door Con. What will it be? 9 with your 5th Golden Door Award because this year was Door to Door Con 8. And looking forward to
Yes,
seeing what you
sir.
do these next 10 years. We want to build a community of people because we believe that this industry and door to door is going to create the next generation's greatest entrepreneurs, leaders, philosophers. And like you're talking about, no doubt you'll be a future CEO. So again, bro, great to connect with you. Thank you so much for coming on the Snapper Chat. And we'll see you in the next one, guys.
See you
Peace.
next week, guys. Thanks.